Garrett Blevins here with days 2 and 3 of week 2 on the Cube or Kingpin RTS split. And I started my bench day as I'm starting them now with pause squats. I did, I believe, sets of 3, started with 405, and then moved up for 5 sets of 3, adding 20 pounds, 10 on each side for each set. These felt pretty good. I was happy about the depth that I'm able to get with these, and also with the amount of butt wink that I have in these. I think is acceptable for the depth that I'm hitting, and so I feel pretty good about moving to flat shoes. I'm still going to be throwing in the Olympic shoes here and there, see if there's maybe some benefit or if I can make it work better. But in general, I just feel like they push me a little bit more forward, and I'm a little stronger with the flat shoes in the lower low bar position. However, that said, this low bar position is really giving me a lot of elbow pain, and so I'm going to have to figure out how to manage the pain so it doesn't affect my bench as much as it is. My bench day was extremely difficult after doing these because of how bad my elbows were hurting. Um, a lot of people would call it tendonitis. It's not actual tendonitis, which is almost unbearable. It's just a lot of muscle soreness, and so I've got to figure out a way around it. Today was a hypertrophy day, and so even with the elbow pain, I did my best to work through the sets. I did 315 here for a set of 12, I believe, on my first set, and the next set I did a set of 10 and then a set of 6. And so I was getting pretty tired pretty fast, and it shows up here. This is my close grip bench. You'll see how much slower than usual I'm bringing the weight down, and that's because of my elbow pain. And so I was only able to do, I think, 3, or the first set was 4, you see here. In the next set I was only able to do 3 reps, and this is only 335, so that's way off what I've done before. However, the deadlift day went quite a bit better. Here you see my last warm-up. This was 405. Just felt really light, and I was really happy about that rep. I feel like my sumo form has been getting a lot more dialed in. I've been able to brace harder using the bracing strategy that Chris Duffin has talked about, where you blow all your air out, you force your air out like you're breathing out through a straw, and then you breathe in really deep, down in underneath and your belly button, pushing out against your obliques. And this has been really helpful for me in bracing for the sumo and for the squat. Though it is difficult to do that movement and that bracing on these high rep sets, to take a breath in between each rep and try to keep that tightness, is very difficult. The first rep here on these deadlifts is actually, I think, the best one, which is good because a lot of times when you do reps on deadlift, your other reps end up looking a lot better than your first one. And so I got to keep working on it, but I feel like the first rep I did with 495 here just flew off the floor, felt really light, and was able to work in some hypertrophy rep ranges. Did 3 sets of 8 with 495, which was a lot of good building base work. Kind of what I wanted to talk about today was, with this deadlift day going so well, this was a day where if I was training instinctually, as I used to do, especially in high school, this would have been a day where I went for a new max. That's how good it felt today. Form and hips, everything felt on point. My mobility was there. Didn't really have to warm up hardly at all, and just felt really good. And so this is a day where, I'd say like the old Garrett would have gone for a new max, and maybe old like last week because that's what I did on squats. But I realized that it was better to spend the time building the strength than testing it. And that was a kind of a mental toughness PR. I've talked about different types of PRs before on this channel, but that was a mental toughness PR where I started to act like an actual lifter who has a plan and is going to stick to it, rather than just your average bro that goes into the gym and just does whatever they feel like. After those 3 sets of 8, my lower back was absolutely trashed, just from fatigue in the muscles. It wasn't because of a form breakdown or any kind of pain. I was just blown up because it was 12,000 pounds of working set volume in about 15 minutes. And so even with a lot of rest in between sets, those are pretty brutal. And so I was only able to do 3 sets of 3 with 585 off blocks. I had wanted to do 6 sets of 3. I then finished up with some floor press. Because of my elbow pain that I mentioned from the previous day, I just did sets of 10, starting with 225, then 275, and then from that point adding 10 pounds on each side, and just worked up doing sets of 10 to, I believe this is 335, which I did for a set of 8 and called it there. It was RPE 10, and so I probably should have just stopped at 7, but went for 8 reps on this. All in all, it was really good deadlift day. The pause squats took it out of my bench a little bit, but still to hit 315 for 12, that might be a rep PR. I'm not sure 100%, but I was overall pretty happy with this week. And my volume overall was over 100,000 pounds of movement from the 3 workouts, with almost with no assistance work at all on one of the days. When I was listening to a podcast with Chad Wesley Smith and Brandon Lilly, and they were talking about a competitor's mindset. And they were talking about how we shouldn't look at other people's numbers and the progress they're making and then somehow get something out of that. Either we push ourselves harder and become more dedicated because of what other people are doing and what we see them doing. We should have an internal motivation. And I think he just put it out. Lane Norton put out a video log, and he talked about how he's seeing some of his other competitors hitting PRs in the gym, but he's not going to let that affect him. He's going to instead just keep doing what he's doing and control the factors he can control. He can control his work and his PRs, but he can't worry about, how if other people are setting PRs in the gym. And that's made me think about this psalm as I read it. That we're not supposed to fret ourselves about other people. Now, in powerlifting, they're not doing something evil or wrong. But that's true in the Christian life as well, where we need to be careful about what we really concern ourselves with. And sometimes, if we're focusing on things we can't control, we may end up getting a little prideful and thinking we're more important than we really are and doing things that we really shouldn't do. So, when you go out there in the world and you hear all that noise, ignore the static and the stuff that doesn't really matter. Hope wherever you're at, you're doing well. Blessings.